In our songwriting contest, so the man has some skills. He's going to perform live on the air for you, so you stick around for that. But you know me, I always start you off with some good upbeat dance music, techno, just good feel music. Here's a Major Lazer featuring Ellie Goulding. It's called Powerful. 91.7 WMCN. .7 WMCN. We're McAllister College Radio, Thursday afternoon. A little cloudy out there, a little windy. 45 degrees. I am J.R. Maddox, and as promised, we've got a special guest in the house this afternoon. He was the runner-up on our summer songwriting contest. I'd like to welcome Rich Schrader to the listening audience. How you doing, Rich?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing good, Rich. Finally got you down here, man. Finally got you. I'm glad. For the listening audience, Rich, I want you to tell the people a little bit about yourself, what you're doing, talk about your CD that's out, and let the listening audience know a little bit about you.
Sure. Well, I was born and raised over in Wisconsin. I live in Menominee, Wisconsin, just about an hour away from here. And for the last year especially, I've been playing music full time. Been being pretty busy. By the end of the year, we'll probably have about 280 dates in the books. And it's everything from hour shows to 4-hour shows, sometimes longer, depending on what people want. So it's mainly an acoustic set. Run around with a little bit of equipment, a little car, so you don't have a lot of outflow there for, keep the profit margin.
There you go. Don't need a lot of roadies.
That's right.
All right, let's get to you. You have a hit single, 10 Years, that's featured on your CD. Let's talk a little bit about your CD. Tell the listening audience about it.
Sure. I think it's been about almost 2 years ago now. I went down in Kentucky. A friend of mine who was a professional road musician for a lot of years for a bigger country artist. He had a studio in his house, and he told me, he said, "You can come down here, spend a week, we'll knock it out." He brought a bunch of musicians in from all over the country that are touring musicians, and they backed up and did all the backup music and everything for me. So for me, it was kind of a bucket list thing because it was a great experience to be able to go through that and see how it's all done.
All right, for the listening audience, it was funny how I met you too, Rich. I was looking for a good firework display, and I've been to all the ones here, so I called the Chamber of Commerce down there. I just asked them, I said, "Do you guys have a big show or anything down there?" They said, "Oh yeah, you got to come on down." They said, "We got live entertainment." They said it's right off the water and stuff. So I brought my friend Troy down there. We really enjoyed ourselves, and that's how I met you. You were performing and running the sound there, so it's just it was a coincidence that we met.
That's a strange deal. Yeah, I've been involved with a 4th of July celebration for our town for about 3 years through the chamber, and headed up the music, so I'm in charge of hiring the bands and things like that throughout the day, and the headliner at night, and keeping everything rolling throughout the day, and making sure everything's going smooth and everybody gets up and does their thing.
All right, was that Freedom? Is that called Freedom Fest?
Freedom Fest, yeah.
Okay, yep, got that. All right, now, Rich, for the listening audience, there's a lot of inspiring. First of all, I want to go back a little bit. You've got all these gigs that you do. You said almost 280 in a year, and there's only 365 days, so it's like you're doing a show almost at least every other day.
Yep.
Rich, you're getting paid. You're a professional. You get paid. For the listening audience, there's some aspiring artists out there. How did you get from just playing music, doing free shows, to getting paid? What was some of the steps you had to take to do that?
Well, for my type of music, I do a lot of care centers, nursing home, assisted living, things like that, memory care centers during the week. And that's what sets it apart from being able to just play on the weekend. So I do a lot of those during the week, and then weeknights. Word of mouth is a big thing, and being a professional, doing the right thing, being the right thing on the mic. I'd like to do a family show. I don't. There isn't any vulgarness or anything like that coming out of my mouth, and one person will tell another, and then somebody will be at a show and they'll call me up and say, "Hey, can you play at this?" So we've had a lot of good gigs this year. One of the big ones we did was over in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, at the Big Rig Truck Show. They had, I don't know, probably 14,000 people run through that venue,
Wow.
in a couple of days, and we played 2 4-hour shows down there, and a lot of private parties, things like that, corporate events. Now we're getting into the Christmas season, so. We've got quite a few of the corporate events booked up for companies and doing their music during their dinner hours and things like that. Weddings, a lot of weddings.
Okay. For the listening audience too, that if you don't know, it's just like pro sports. The difference between an amateur and a professional is a professional gets paid. And that's the big difference. So for the people out there that are not getting paid, how important is it to be prompt to handle your business part real good?
Well, I think you have to, you have to have that in your mind all the time, every time you play. Whether even if you're doing a benefit for somebody where you are doing it for free, you never know who's there. You never know who's going to see you. Who's going to book your next show for you. And that's something I always keep in the back of my head to make sure that you're on time. You get set up. I don't like being rushed, so I'm there early setting up. Making sure the gear all works before the show. And if you don't do that, you kind of shoot yourself in the foot.
There you go, because I know a lot of talented people. I mean some extremely talented people, but the business, they weren't talented on the business side, and that's why I brought that up. For somebody, you're out there doing it. You're getting paid to do music, what you love to do.
Yeah, the worst day of my job is still better than the best day of punching the clock, as far as I look at it. I count my blessings every day for what I'm able to do.
All right, Rich, you're representing Menominee, Wisconsin. For those that don't know, you're well known too in Wisconsin. A lot of people know you. Like I said, a lot of gigs. Eau Claire is a decent sized town. Like you said, a 14,000 venue. You can't beat that. That's almost like the Target Center.
Yeah, yeah. Then people coming and going, and I think one of the things that I hear from other people that play music is, well, I feel like I'm just background music. Well, you know what? Sometimes you are, and that's okay, because people still turn their head and look at you, and they'll come up and grab a card, or they'll know. Hey, that's those guys sounding good. I don't need to be out in front, blasting somebody's ears out all the time, just to be heard. I mean, it's one thing to be back to and just kind of be mellow.
All right, we got to, for the listening audience, you got to tell everybody how they spell your name and tell everybody how they can find you on Facebook.
Yeah, so it's Rich, R-I-C-H, pretty easy, and then Schroeder, it's S-C-H-R-O-E-D-E-R, so it looks like Schroeder, but it said Schrader. And Facebook is where I do the main promotion of my stuff, and it's just Rich Schrader Music. And go on there and like it, and check out. I got some videos on there too of some stuff that I just recorded at the house and different things like that. But that, you can get my CD. Just send me a message from there. I haven't really done any online sales things. Just hard copies.
Okay. Now, for the listening audience, we are taping this performance today. I know you're going to put this on your Facebook page, correct?
It'll be up there, sure, definitely.
All right. Well, Rich, I'm ready to hear. Once again, you tied for second place in our songwriting contest. Your hit 10 years. Everybody that I heard loved this song. Even though most of the songs that entered in the contest were R&B songs, hip hop songs, and we had a few pop and indie songs. Mm-hmm. But your style of music, how would you classify that?
Well, for most of my shows, it's the majority of it's actually country, with a lot of classic rock and things like that mixed in. So this song here, I wrote probably, I want to say almost 15, 20 years ago. And that was the first one, and when we put on the CD, the engineer, my friend, he said, I'm going to throw everything at this one, and he did a lot of production work on that, and brought in a lot of cool tracks.
All right, well, we've been waiting, Rich. We've got a large listening audience waiting for you to hear it. I'm excited. Why don't you introduce the song and do your thing?
All right. Well, sometimes I affectionately call this my stalker song, because it's about a person who, kind of likes somebody from afar and wishes that they would know that they like them, and that kind of thing. So it's called 10 Years From Now. I sit here alone as I write this song, thinking only of you. Someday I will hold you in my arms. It's only one wish of two. The day that I take you for my wife, we both say I do. I think of all the dreams I've had and the wishes that came true. Till that day I'll find a way, make it through somehow. If only today wouldn't be that day, instead of 10 years from now. I saw you just the other day. You smiled when I said hello. I know you know that I feel this way. It's hard for me to let it show. If someone would tell you how I feel, instead of me taking the chance, maybe you'd let me take your hand, and we would have the last dance. Till that day I'll find a way to make it through somehow. If only today wouldn't be that day, instead of 10 years from now. I feel it from way down deep inside. It's a love like I've never known. All of the years that I've tried to hide it, and suffered and cried alone. The hours and the days and the years go by, hoping to be so bold, to ask you to be there by my side, and give you my hand to hold. Till that day I'll find a way to make it through somehow. If only today wouldn't be that day, instead of 10 years from now. Instead of 10 years from now, it's only 10 years from now.
There you go,
Thank you.
91.7 WMCN, Rich Schrader, second place in the summer songwriting contest. Man, that is a good song, man. I'm telling you, the first time I heard it, I had to play it, man. I'm telling you, you got some skills, Rich.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Definitely. Let's get back to you a little bit more, Rich. Let's talk about the music scene. What is the music scene like in the Wisconsin area? I mean, is there a lot of venues in the western Wisconsin area?
Not so much. It doesn't, I think years ago I used to play in a band, and there used to be a lot of places that were available for bands to play, and they would pay you pretty decent money to do it. Unfortunately, with the economy slowing and things like that have happened over the years, I think the things, doing a solo or a dual show really appeals to people because they're still getting entertainment, but they're not having to shell out the kind of money they would have to a full band. And then, for me, I can put all the money in my pocket and not have to share it with 4 or 5 other guys,
There you go.
So, that's kind of where my niche market has been. There's people that do what I do, but there's not a lot of them that do as many shows as I do. And they don't, they'll play around open mics and things like that. I do host a couple open mics on a weekly basis that other artists can come in and play and, kind of, do their thing for a little while and get their fix, so to speak.
There you go.
And, so it's good for me to be able to hear some other stuff out there too.
All right, Rich, for the listening audience and for all the people listening out there, what are some of the best advice you can give somebody that's trying to do what you're doing, to play their music and get paid? What are some of the things that you can tell them that'll really help them?
I think don't get a big head. I think one of the things that bothers me the most with people that I see that are so talented is they've got such an ego. And I think, having an ego like that, you got to feel good about what you do and feel good about yourself. I'm not saying that, but, sometimes they think, you're better than somebody else. And I think they lose a lot of work that way. And you can't be that way. We're just, everybody puts on their pants the same way. And I just want to be as humble as I can and very fortunate and blessed to do what I do.
Well, Rich, when it's all said and done and your career is over, and a career is never over because you can play the guitar till you can't, till your fingers don't work anymore.
Right,
but
right.
what is some of the main things you would like to accomplish that you haven't accomplished so far?
Actually, I think about that a lot, and I really don't know if there is a lot. This has turned into way more than I ever thought it could have. I always used to play music kind of part-time on the side and do things like that, but just in this last year, I've done a lot of cool things that I never thought I'd be able to do. So whatever the future holds, I guess I'm ready for it.
All right, so tell the people once again, spell your name, because a lot of people have trouble,
Right.
Finding people on Facebook, because you got to be correct. There's no close.
Yeah.
You got to be correct.
Yeah, exactly.
How can they find you on Facebook?
Again, it's Rich Schrader Music, so RICHSCHROEDER, and then music. And I've got a picture of my one of my guitars with me standing on a tree or by a tree or whatever, so you know what I'm looking like. Kind of a half bald guy, so if that's what you're looking for.
Hey, I'm
I was gonna say,
completely
JR,
bald.
we're in the same group. We're in the same group.
But I've shaved mine off. Mine's just great.
I'm gonna do that one of these days. Just admit defeat on that.
Well, Rich, man, I hate to put you on the spot, man, but would you like to perform another song? Is there another song off the album you'd like to perform?
You know, I haven't done a lot of those lately, so I probably would pass on that just
Okay.
without having to rehearse. That's part of the professionalism. I know.
There you go.
I know where to draw the line.
Hey, I had to try, man, because honestly, I enjoyed that song. Looking to work with you some more.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
do some things. Definitely going to get your a song here. There are some shows up here that do play country music, so
Cool.
I'm definitely going to pass your CD along and get that to those, because that song needs to be heard, man. Honestly,
Well,
that
I've got a couple CDs too. If you got something you want to give away or whatever, I got got some stuff with me.
definitely that would definitely work. Because I'm telling you that 10 years, man. I mean, it's a country song, but it's a universal song. The lyrics in that song, man, I'm telling you. I had a hip-hop, a guy who's dealt with nothing but hip-hop in his whole life, Snowballer Records, Mike Stumpy Pearson. I mean, he's been big time. He's worked with people like Ice Cube, Juvenile, BG. He's even done some work with Drake. And he heard that song, he was like, man, he said, I don't even like country. He said, oh man, that song is tight, man.
That's good. I get a lot of people to say, I'm not a real big fan of country music, but I like what you do, and that's good. I mean, I enjoy that. That means a lot to me.
All right, for the listening audience, I know you got some people back in Wisconsin listening to you. Who do you want to shout out this afternoon?
Well, I don't know. It depends on how many I'm found on the internet, because you got to stream it over there.
There you
But
go.
there's a bunch that said they were gonna, so I hope they were able to tune in.
All right, Rich, man, I want to keep this interview going, man, because you came all the way down here. You drove from Menominee. You turned it out. I can say, man, this is like 2 weeks in a row. I mean, last week we had Gabriella Jacobs. She was placed 7th place in the contest. I mean, and she ripped it up. You come in this week and you rip it up. I mean, I'm on a roll here.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and I got another group, a rap group coming in next week. Their name is Deps, and they're gonna rip it up. And the one thing I like about that group too is just like you, Rich. They're about their business. These guys, when I put the post out there, I'm having a songwriting contest. Within 30 seconds, they had emailed me a
Really?
song. I mean, they're about their business.
Awesome.
Anytime I ask them to do something or send me something, I don't have to wait. It's in my email before I can even check it. So I mean, those guys are strictly business, and yours the same way. And that's what I want to instill in the listening audience, because there's some aspiring artists here in the Twin
Absolutely.
Cities. I mean, some great talent. I like the point that you brought up too about the ego. I
Yeah.
really like that, because that's what kills a lot of people too. I don't care how good you are, how good you think you are. You gotta be humble. You gotta be humble, and you gotta be hungry.
Yeah,
Because a lot of time when you got that ego, that brushes people away.
it really does.
And what I also learned, and see, I want to tell you a quick thing about me, Rich. You don't know me about the music industry, but I've been a pioneer in the music industry. I'm honestly the only radio announcer in the state of Minnesota that got a local artist signed to a national label.
Oh, cool.
I'm the one that discovered double platinum artist Alexander O'Neal.
Really?
I'm the one that got him signed, okay? Also, I don't know if you heard of Cynthia Johnson and Lip Sync, the song Funky Town, which sold 35 million copies worldwide.
Okay.
I'm the one, along with John Rivers and Joey Kareem, that brought Cynthia Johnson and helped her on her comeback. I mean, she had retired for years and years, and we begged her. We said, Cynthia, we can make this happen for you. And even though her comeback only lasted maybe not even a half a year, that was one of the greatest moments I had, because here's this lady has sold 35 million copies.
Wow.
She let me be her personal MC and be her promotion manager. So I felt really blessed. I would have did it for free, even though we did some shows, I did get paid. I would have did that for free. I was just humbled at the idea that she included me, somebody that big included me to spearhead her comeback. I mean,
That's
so I've been in this industry. Also, I'm the one that discovered Tina Arredondo, who won the songwriting contest, who also won Flight Time songwriting contest, which is Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. So I know talent, and I've helped people get signed. And I'm telling you, man, you got it. That song, 10 years, honestly, I took that song to the beach. We got a big beach here called Lake Harriet. I mean, it's the #1 beach in the Twin Cities. And I let youngsters, and a lot of youngsters are into hip hop, and they all said the same thing. Man, we don't like country, but man, that song, there's something about that song, man, that it has a universal appeal. And I encourage you, man, to really push that song. get it out there. I hope before the next couple of days that I can refer people to your Facebook page so
Sure.
they can see this performance, and they need to hear those lyrics, man, because honestly, I believe that's a hit.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. It means a lot.
Yes.
It's hard, you know, when you write a song, you know, you're kind of throwing yourself out there, and you know, first thing you wonder, oh, do people get what you're trying to say? And you know, it's you feel like I say, you feel like you're putting yourself out, and hopefully they get it.
Well, I can tell you this, Rich, you're welcome here at 91.7 WMCN anytime you feel like coming in here and performing. You come up with a new single and you want to bust it first here, you're always welcome on my show. That's a promise, man. I'm going to be here until the last brick falls. So I'll be here, old man, still DJing. But you always got a spot here at 91.7 because we appreciate you driving all the way down, and we appreciate you sharing your music, and also appreciate you sharing your music knowledge and helping the young people that were listening today. And hopefully they can get to where you're at, being able to perform their music, having a good time, and to be able to get paid for it.
Awesome.
All right, Rich, so once again, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, oh, definitely, man. We'll definitely hang out again. Matter of fact, I'm going to help you out too on that, on your show, on the Freedom Fest thing. I'm turning you on to a few sponsors that I know, some national sponsors, and looks like I might be your MC.
That would work. That'd take that off my thing. I got enough to do on my plate that day, so that would work.
All right, Rich. Well, I'm going to get back into a song here. I'm going to let you hear this song too. This is a rap song. This is one of my buddies. His name is Buddy McLean. And he's got a hot rap track out. It's called Looking the Best on 91.7 WMCN.